Turns out that the people working for Immigration and Customs Enforcement are exactly who we thought they were. What do I mean? Well, the Department of Homeland Security, according to a recent report, had hired recruits that had failed drug tests, oops, had criminal histories, oops, or they didn't meet the physical fitness or academic criteria required by the agency.
Whoopsie.
Oh no! Oh no! Now, this is according to one current and two former DHS officials that had spoken to NBC News. So, yeah, turns out ICE full of criminals, dumb people, and fatties. Wow. Congratulations. Good job. Now, what kind of criminal history, by the way? Well, one recruit at the ICE training facility in Brunswick, Georgia, current DHS official said, had been charged with strong-arm robbery and battery over a domestic violence incident. Oh, the incident, domestic violence. Way to go. Way to go. That same official and the two former officials also said that some of the recruits in the 6-week training course, and I'll get to that, hadn't even completed one element necessary for their background checks, which of course is their fingerprints. Now, why wouldn't they have gotten their fingerprints done yet? Maybe they're already in the system, and so their fingerprints might bring up something bad. Not an average oversight here. No, we know the reason ICE is hiring criminals to do criminal shit. I mean, it can't get any more obvious. Okay, but look, now, I'm going to get to the more. Okay, I'm getting more to this stuff. But first, the former officials said that ICE's vetting and drug test policies have not been adhered to as strictly as it was before the agency sought to increase staffing. Remember, they're trying to hire about 10,000 new ICE officers by next year, okay? And it's all part of the big push, right, to hire more people and to do the, mass deportations they promised, the 3,000 a day, which is impossible. There's not that many criminal illegal aliens in this country, okay? Why do you think they're targeting people that are at work at Home Depot, all right? Or the people that are out toiling in the fields to pick our food, okay? That's why they're going there. They're targeting working people, okay? I mean, seriously, that's what's going on here. But anyway, yes, they have these gigantic, goals here of hiring about 10,000 agents so they can finally get to their 3,000 arrests per day, okay? And they got a huge funding increase from Trump's one big, beautiful bill, okay? It increased funding from about $10 billion to over $100 billion by 2029. You realize that is more money than the military forces of some entire countries. ICE, the jackbooted thugs, okay, and criminals. That's instead of going after criminals, ICE is hiring them. I kid you not. I mean, as long as they're not too fat, because that is one of the things that Hegseth not in favor of. Look, in all, more than 200 recruits had been dismissed since the summer hiring surge, according to internal ICE data obtained by NBC News. Now, less than 10 of them were dismissed over the criminal charges, drug tests, or their safety concerns. But whatever happened to everyone else? It turns out the vast majority could not meet either the physical or academic metrics, okay? Which, by the way, like, their training has been relaxed. I mentioned that they have a 6-week course, okay? Used to be 13 weeks. Then they reduced it to 8, and then finally shortened it to 6, They also waived the age limits so that older folks could join in the fun of, cracking the skulls of immigrants, basically, of Latinos. Okay. Yeah. And it turns out doing that, oops, we're no longer hiring the best of the best. No kidding. No kidding. Look, this is an amazing stat. It turns out that nearly half of all the new recruits who arrived for training over the past 3 months were later sent home because they could not pass the written exam. Here's the best part, okay? That written exam is literally an open book test. That's right. The academic requirement includes an exam in which officers are allowed to consult textbooks and notes at the end of a legal course on the Immigration and Nationality Act and the Fourth Amendment, which outlines when officers can and cannot conduct searches and seizures. Kind of an important thing. That is super important. Okay, knowing the Fourth Amendment and all. But apparently, these people could not even pass an open book exam. It explains so much, y'all. It explains so much. Oh my God. A slightly smaller group ended up getting dismissed because they failed the physical fitness test or had particular medical issues that barred them from becoming ICE agents, from passing that physical fitness exam. Okay. And by the way, some of those who were sent home had made it clear on their applications that they were not able to meet ICE's physical requirements, but they were sent to training anyway. I mean, absolutely amazing. Look, one of the former DHS officials with knowledge of the agency's hiring said this, quote, "They are trying to push everyone through, and the vetting process is not what it should be." Exactly, and that's the point. Look, they're trying to push as many people through training as they can because it's not about staffing this agency with qualified people. That's not what it's about. It's about trying to build a private army answerable to Donald Trump. That's it. We have to stop thinking about ICE in old terms, okay? We have to stop thinking that Trump is trying to build this as a way to safeguard the nation from the threat of immigrant gangs, okay, and criminals. No, that's not what it's about. This is an army of brown shirts only answerable to Trump and Stephen Miller. Okay, that's it. That's what ICE is about. Abolish ICE if you're not clear. And that has been my position since people first started saying abolish ICE. And yet, I mean, what did the Democrats do? They funded ICE. Oh, of course they did. So there you are. And look, they are the brown shirts. When you look at the behavior from these people, you see who and what they are. They're Proud Boys. They're January 6ers. Look, one of the agents, by the way, just as an example of how they treat people, okay? One of the agents had told an American citizen that was rounded up as one of their raids, Annabelle Romero, told her that they would, quote, blow her effing head off. This was during a raid that happened in Idaho, okay? That she had told a local news outlet, quote, "They just told me to shut up," is an American citizen, "and shoved me to the ground. I got kicked on the side. They pulled my shoulder all the way back and shoved my face into the horse shavings. I couldn't really breathe. They zip tied me. I kept telling them I couldn't breathe." Annabelle said that finally, after hours of interrogation about whether or not they're here illegally, okay, her and her children, yes, her kids were there, were released. They didn't care about the kids, okay? Annabelle says, "It just breaks my heart that they had no sympathy towards kids. No sympathy. And all these people, they didn't care if it was criminals. All they wanted was the people that were illegal. That's all they wanted. They didn't care. That's just one example. The kind of people that ICE is hiring and the kind of mission that they are on. And if you are totally cool with what they're doing, then I got news for you. You're a bad person. You're a broken person. And you need a lot of help. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you become a member on our YouTube page, you become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.